The more we look into the Donald Trump assassination attempt, the more questions that we have. Now, what we do know is the shooter was 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. He graduated from high school in 2022. People from his high school say he was a loner. He was made fun of a lot. He was odd. He was also on the rifle team, which was interesting, but some people reporting that he was a terrible shot. So some things aren't really lining up unless he got a lot more training between then and now. The major question on everyone's mind is, how did this guy, a 20-year-old sort of untrained person, get onto this roof without being detected? And then how was he able to get a line of sight shot from an elevated position to Donald Trump? Lots of questions. We're now learning that a police officer did engage with Crooks, but after Crooks pointed the rifle at him, he came down from the roof. The other question is, why was there a ladder there? That was also very convenient. By all accounts, it seems like the people around the shooter on the ground pointing him out to local authorities, and then this local officer engaging with Crooks on the roof, caused him to rush and hurry his shot. Now let's talk about that shot. Actually, Donald Trump spoke to Bret Baier and told him that the doctor said if his head was just a quarter of an inch in a different position, he would have been killed. And in the video, you actually see Donald Trump turn his head toward the shooter, which changed the angle of the bullet, saving Donald Trump's life. Now, other questions surrounding the Secret Service are also part of this discussion, and they cannot be dismissed because we know that, according to reports, these agents that were assigned to Donald Trump were temporary Secret Service agents, and also the Trump team has been requesting additional security from Secret Service for months, but Biden's DHS has not complied. Furthermore, there are unconfirmed reports that the counter sniper for the Secret Service on the roof had this shooter in his sights for up to 3 minutes, but was not allowed to engage. We have not been able to confirm that report, but we're hearing it from multiple sources. Then you go back to the director of the Secret Service. We're talking about Kimberly Cheadle. She was an agent for quite some time, then went to Pepsi for a few years, and then Biden appointed her back as the Secret Service director. In fact, she used to be on Biden's detail when he was VP. So she's very close to the Bidens, and she has spoken out publicly many times wanting to bring more diversity hires to the Secret Service. She stressed that it not necessarily was the most important thing to have the best. Instead, she mentioned we need to have diverse hires, especially women, and now we're hearing that some assigned that day were temporary. Now, the Secret Service agents were brave to rush the stage, but as you can see in video, there are some things that were not done to the best potential possibility as it relates to the scrambling, the inability to holster guns, the trying to remember to put on your sunglasses, and not even being tall enough to shield the president in case of an additional shooter. So a lot more questions than answers at this point, but I think it's a fair thing to look back at all of the remarks and rhetoric from the left and from the media claiming that Donald Trump is some kind of existential threat to our democracy, because it seems somebody out there took it seriously and took matters into their own hands. Now we need more answers.